He was angry with us and he turned his back away from us, but through the blood of Yahweh Shai, we are now being able to be adopted back. All right. We're able to be grafted back in. All right. That graft, like it talks about in that Romans, which graft, that graft in Romans comes from the Greek word ekkontrenzo, which means to insert, or to cut off for the sake of inserting a scion. And a scion is a descendant from that stock, a descendant from that stock of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, making you an Israelite, a descendant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, making you an Israelite. Okay? Those are the people of God. And that's why it says back in this Luke 1:68, blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people. He redeemed his people, right? And this is what's going to happen when the Lord comes. Okay, verse 69. He hath raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David. David was an Israelite, and those who stem from David is an Israelite. Okay, verse 70. As he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies and from all of the hand of all that hate us. All that hate us, which is these other nations. Okay? See, right now it don't look like they too much hate us, because guess what? We doing what they do. We listening to them. We following them. We accept them. All right, and their ways and their philosophies, all right, which is a snare unto us, as it is written. Okay, we're not supposed to follow their ways, all right, because we're supposed to follow our ways, which is the ways of life, the only way to live, like we read in that Deuteronomy 5:33. All right, but that we should be saved from our enemies. All right, saved from our enemies. Let me get this. Oh, I didn't even write that down. Okay. All right. Well, saved from our enemies. And it says, and from all of those that hate us, right? Check it out. This is Psalms 83. Psalms 83:1. It says, keep not thy silence, O God. Hold not thy peace and be not still, O God. And that's what we crying. Please come back, Lord. Quam, Bayah, my Lord. Come, arise, save us. Look at this, our predicament we in. Look at our people. Look at the madness that our people are in. Us killing each other, and about this present evil world, pants sagging, girls booty shaking, and that's how, just all manner of backward assness, man. Killing each other and hate each other. All right, about this world and about these heathens' philosophies and gods that they just made up. Okay? It says, keep not thy silence, O God, and hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. And I just named a couple of things. But I can go on for days talking about the madness that our people are in and what they're, involved in. All right? And we all were a part of that until the Lord started resting his Holy Spirit upon his men in these last days to wake up the elect of our people to come out of this world and be holy, be separate from this world. All right, that you may be found unspotted from this world when the Lord come back with that wrath. Okay, and that's who's going to have the salvation, is the 1/3, the elect of our people. All right, who separate themselves from this world and sigh and cry of all the abominations that's done in the midst thereof. That's who gonna be saved, all right, of the nation of Israel. Okay, it says, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult. All right, it says the enemies of the Most High God. And if the enemies of the Most High God, if there's enemies of the Most High God Yahweh, then they're enemies of us. All right. Just like King David said, do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee? Okay? I hate them who hate you, Lord. I count them mine enemies, is what King David said. King David, a righteous man of the Most High God. All right? It says King David, who was a man after the Most High's heart. All right? I'm in the same sentiment as King David. All right? Who was an Israelite. If King David was on the earth today, they call him a nigger. They call him a part of a hate group. Verse 3, it says, they have taken crafty counsel. So these enemies of God, these enemies of the Israelites, have taken crafty counsel against thy people. Who is thy people? The Israelites. Who is the people of the Lord? The Israelites. We proved that. Okay? It says, and consulted against thine hidden ones. These enemies have said, verse 4, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. Come, let us cut them off from being the Hebrew Israelites, the chosen children of God. Let us cut them off. It says that the name of Israel, the Israelites, may be no more in remembrance. And that's what they did, because they lied to us. When we were in subjection to them, they taught us lies. They taught us deceit. And after centuries upon centuries, we believed it. And look at our people today. But they didn't expect, they didn't know that the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, all right, which is the comforter, all right, which is the truth of the Bible, was going to rest upon his elect men, and those rest of the 1/3, men, women, and children, that was going to receive his elect men. And by the time the Lord come back, those who received them and applied these things and thought upon these things and worship the Most High God in spirit and in truth, that is who the Lord is going to save from the wrath of the Lord. All right? It says, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together. All these different nations, our enemies, have consulted together with one consent, that they are confederate against thee. They are confederate. They came together against us. Who? Verse 6, the tabernacles of Edom. They the number one enemy, because they the wicked. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. It's right here in the Bible, if you can receive it. And if not, you're not one of the sheep. If you can't receive it, then you're going to be get that judgment, the wrath of the Lord, that fire, weeping and gnashing of teeth with these other nations. It says the tabernacles of Edom, Ishmaelites, Moabites, Hagarenes, Gebal, Ammon, Amalek, Philistines, Tyre, all right, Assur, all right, and it goes to name a bunch of different heathen nations, those who are not the Israelite nation, the Israelites, okay? Those are our enemies. It says it right here. Also, in Baruch chapter 4, verse 4, it says, O Israel, happy are we, for the things that are pleasing to God are made known unto us. It says, O Israel, the Israelites, happy are we. Not these other nations, right? Check it out. It says, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to God are made known unto us. Be of good cheer, my people. The memorial of Israel. The memorial of Israel. That's what Zion means. All right. In the Hebrew, to Zion. All right. Which is memorial or monument. Okay. It says, verse 6, we are sold to the nations, not for your destruction. All right. Not for our complete and utter destruction, but for a chastening of our nation. All right. Like it says in that second Maccabees. All right. A chasten means, like I always go into, a punishment for the sake of moral improvement. And that's why in that Amos 3:1, it says, you only of all the families of the earth have I known. Therefore, I will punish you. I will morally improve you. All right. And at the time of the punishment don't feel good. All right. That's why it says, I think that's in that Hebrews, no chastening. Let me see if I can find that real quick. I believe it's Hebrews. Right. This is the water. Y'all brushing me out shy, which the water in the Hebrew is thank you. It's Hebrews 12 and 11. It says, now no chastening. Chasten means punishment for the sake of moral improvement. So no punishment for the present seemed to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward, it yielded the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. So if you're exercised by punishment, if you're exercised by chastisement, all right, then it worketh righteousness in you. All right. That's why in that Romans, it says, that Romans 5, it says 5 and 2. It says, by whom also we have access by faith into this grace wherein we stand, and rejoice in hope of the glory of God. And not only so, but we glory in tribulation. We glory in that punishment. All right, because in that punishment, we have all manner of trials and tribulations. That's why it says, through much tribulation shall ye enter into the kingdom of heaven. All right, this is that dangerous place to fall, which Second Esdras was talking about, that to get our inheritance of the kingdom of heaven and to rule it, all right, we must go through the entrance, which is the entrance is that dangerous place to fall that's filled with afflictions, persecutions, all right, sufferings, temptations, all right, that we must overcome and learn from. Just like a parent punishing their child, they punish them to learn from their mistake so they can be better people. The same thing that the Most High God did to his special chosen people. It's no different. He didn't do it to these other nations because we are his special chosen people, and we are going to be those rulers in the kingdom of heaven. We're going to have that position of royalty. We're going to have that position of ruling over the other nations. These other nations are not going to have that part. All right. They're going to be having the part of subjects. But guess what? After their punishment, after their judgment, all right, that they have to go through, which is going to be much worse than what we went through. If we his special chosen children and he punished us for all the wickedness that we did, how much more, matter of fact, let me see if I can find that. How much more these heathen nations gonna get punished? Okay. Bear with me. Bear with me a quick second. Right. Wait. No, that ain't it. Wait. Ah, yes. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verse 22. It says, therefore, whereas thou dost chasten us, all right, the Israelites, thou dost punish us, chasten us, thou scourges our enemies 1,000 times more, to the intent that when we judge, we should carefully think of thy goodness. And when we ourselves are judged, we shall look for mercy. All right. But he said he scourges our enemies 1,000 times more. See, but that their punishment, all right, that they're going to be scourged 1,000 times more than us. It says in that Ecclesiastes, for sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily. Therefore, the hearts of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil, because they haven't been punished yet. And that's why I'm going to have to get it. This is 2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 12. It says, now I beseech those that read this book, that they be not did I get the chapter? 2 Maccabees 6 and 12. It says, now I beseech those that read this book, that they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishments not to be for our destruction, but for a chastening of our nation, the nation of Israel. We're being chastened. We're being punished, okay, to learn. That's why Romans 15:4, it says, for everything that was written aforetime was written for our learning. Whatever was written was done. So everything that was done from the beginning of time up until now, up until the time the Lord comes, was done for our learning. So we be righteous rulers, righteous judges, okay, with wisdom. And you gain wisdom through experience. And experience, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, reincarnation after reincarnation, have us Israelites been going through experience of being on the top, being on the bottom, being broke, being rich, being this, being that, being subjected to other nations, being this, going through this, that, and that, going through all those experience, learning. All right. It says, but for a chastening of our nation. It says, for it is a token of his great goodness towards us that he's punishing us because he loves us, that we may learn. So that's goodness. It says, for it is a token. That's a sign. Him punishing us and us going through all these things that we've been through. That's a sign of his great goodness towards us. All right. That when wicked doers, when we do wickedly, are not suffered any long time, but forthwith punished. All right. Remember, suffered, allowed. We're not allowed any long time, but forthwith punish, meaning immediately punish. All right. It says, not as with other nations whom the Lord patiently forbeareth to punish. He patiently forbeareth to punish till they, it says, to punish till they come to the fullness of their sins. Okay. Just like in that second Esdras that I read, when Esdras was asking, like, man, are they then of Babylon, these other nations, better than us? He said, 3:30, second Esdras 3:30. It says, for I have seen how thou sufferest them sinning, and hast spared wicked doers, and has destroyed thy people. All right. Now, not utterly destroyed, but punished us, chastised us, messed us, jacked us up real good, that we may learn from that, from those experiences. All right. He said, but thou allowed them sinning. You ain't do nothing to them. He said, I see that they flow in wealth. They chilling. But we in subjection to them. All right. But second Maccabees chapter 6, starting at verse 12, it lets you know that, yeah, we immediately punish. So we can learn from that. He's not trying to morally improve these other nations because they're not going to be in a position of rulership in the kingdom of heaven. Okay, that's why we need salvation. All right, saved from our enemies and their ways. All right, but did I finish that? Right, Romans 5:3 and 2. By whom also we have access by faith into this grace wherein we stand. And we rejoice in the hope of the glory of God. And not only so, but we glory in tribulation also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience, and patience experience, and experience hope, and hope maketh not ashamed, because the love of God is shed abroad in our hearts by the Holy Spirit, which is given unto us. Okay? All right, us exclusively, the Israelites. Okay, but we glory in that tribulation, knowing that us glorying and going through all these things, it worketh something. All right, that eternal weight of glory. All right, it worketh something. Us going through this, making our bodies a living sacrifice. All right, like I used to be an actor, man. You know what I'm saying? And when I gave up acting and gave up my whole life in my career, that hurt. But I know it worketh something. It worketh something that I make my body a living sacrifice. And my family and my peers that used to act, they don't understand it. All right? But the Lord has given me this gift of faith. And I'm thankful for it. And so I give it up. All right? I go through all these things. But the Lord give me the strength to do it. Okay? And so, man, it's your hope that he do the same. All right. So going back into this Luke, and I'm gonna carry on. Luke 1 and 71. that we should be saved from our enemies. We just read in that Baruch, matter of fact, I don't know if I finished it, but I'll get it again just in case. Baruch chapter 4 and 6. It says, ye were sold unto the nations, not for your destruction, but because ye moved God to wrath. Ye were delivered unto the enemies. Ye were delivered unto the enemies. Who were the enemies? Ye were sold unto the nations. So to these heathen nations that's not Israelites, they are our enemies. You can't get around it. And we're going to be saved from our enemies and following their ways, which is a death style and not a lifestyle. Okay? We're going to be saved from our enemies. All right? You're not getting around this. Okay? Then, matter of fact, I'm going to hit that Baruch chapter 4. I'm going to start from the top. It says, this is the book of the commandments of God, and the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. It says, turn thee, O Jacob, meaning return. O Jacob, you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, return to this understanding that you are Israelite, and it comes with a standard. It comes with discipline. It comes with being separate and holy from this present evil world and all these other nations. Okay? It comes with having to go through and overcome. All right? This is not for us to live our best life and have the money, cars, clothes, and the hoes and success in this present evil world. Okay? We're against this present evil world. So when the Lord that's against it comes with that judgment for its wickedness, that we may be on the side of the Lord and have his mercy and saved from the wrath that he's coming with. It says, all they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. Turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated. It says, give not thine honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee unto a strange nation. All right? This is not for these other nations. They are going to be subjects in the kingdom of heaven. They're not going to be in the kingdom of heaven. Is going to be right here on the earth. That's why John, the Revelator, said, I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away. We're still in the first heaven and the first earth. All right? The heaven meaning the rulership. All right? Just like when people say, man, I'm in heaven, man. That means they in a position of feeling good and you know, basically, you know, it's cool. It's nice. It's, you know, it's fun. All right? See, we in our position of hell. See, heaven and hell also is a condition. All right. Right now, we are in our condition of hell. So-called white man, especially when you talk about the banking elite who's ruling the world, they're in their position of heaven, but they're falling from that heaven, like it talks about in that Isaiah 14. Oh, Lucifer ain't talking about no spiritual demon Satan. Lucifer is talking about the enlightened ones. All right. Which are the banking elite. Okay. Who know all this truth and know that we are the Israelites. They know it. They have all the relics. They have all the information and the truth hidden. They don't want you to know because they don't want you to know who you are. Because if you knew who you are, maybe you act like it. But no, they want you to be niggas. They want you to be coons. Uncle Tomahawks. All right? They want you to be that way so they can continue in their heaven in power. But they didn't count on the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua stirring up our pure minds by way of remembrance as it is written. So carrying on, all right, it says, give not thine honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee, unto a strange nation. What's profitable unto us? This wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That's why in this Isaiah 33 and 6, it says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. All right. This wisdom and knowledge is going to be the strength of our salvation, Israelites exclusively. This wisdom and knowledge of the Bible, rightly divided, all right, in truth, is going to be the stability of thy times and the strength of thy salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. So this wisdom and knowledge is going to be the strength of our salvation, right? So if this wisdom and knowledge is the strength of our salvation, and Psalms 147 and 19 says this: he showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. As for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. His word you can find in the Bible. His statutes and his judgments in the Bible. And it was given unto Israel. Verse 20, it says, he have not dealt so with any nation. All right. This wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, these law, statutes, and commandments was given exclusively to us, which is going to be the strength of our salvation. You can't get around it. I'm reading out the Bible, precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line upon line, here a little, there a little. All right. It says, through thy precepts I get understanding. Therefore, I hate every false way. All right. I'm letting God be true, but every man a liar. If you can receive it, you might just be one of those sheep and you might just have hope of salvation. But if you can't hear this, if you're not receiving it, so sad. Because this is the wisdom, knowledge that was given to the Israelites exclusively. Just like it says right here in this Deuteronomy. Once again, these be the words that were spoken unto all Israel. It says, Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 5. It says, behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments. Remember, we just read that in Psalms 147 and 19, that was not given unto any other nation. Even as the Lord my God commanded me that ye should go do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great, who have God so nigh unto them as the Lord our God is in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great that hath statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law, which I set before you this day? All right. No other nation. We read that. He said he have not dealt so with any nation. This same wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which is going to be the strength of salvation. These other nations cannot have salvation, okay, from the wrath of the Lord. This is the wrath of the Lord is the punishment for these other nations that they never did get. We got our punishment. So 2/3 of our people, they also got of the punishment. But guess what? They also going to have to get the punishment of these heathen nations because they wanted to be down with the heathen nations. They wanted to be down with the heathen nations' inheritance, which is this present evil world. See, our inheritance is not with this present evil world. That's why in 2nd Esdras it said this, 2nd Esdras chapter 6 and 58. It says, but we thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands. We're given into the hands of these other nations. It says, if the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? We don't have an inheritance with this first heaven and this first earth. We don't have an inheritance with this present evil world. All right. This present evil world is for us to learn. It's for us to be chastised so that we learn from all those experiences. All right. That's why in that Romans 5, it says that, hey, we glory in tribulation, knowing that it worketh something. It worketh patience. Patience worketh experience. So all these experiences that we going through, it worketh something. A peaceable fruit of righteousness. that we're going to be that righteous nation of people. And that when the righteous are in authority, the people that we rule over rejoice. But they're going to rejoice after their judgment, after their punishment, after they go into captivity under us, after they get scourged 1,000 times more, as it is written. I'm going precept upon precept.